It's all come down to this. Welcome to the final Nostalgia Talk Christmas bonus of 2021. In this one, I'm going to be talking about Disney's I'll Be Home for Christmas. I think that this is really a good one to end the series with this year because, for one thing, the name I'll Be Home for Christmas and what it's about. Well, I don't need to say much about what it's about, do I? It's obviously about somebody coming home for Christmas. In this movie, Jonathan Taylor Thomas plays a college student who's going to school in Los Angeles with his girlfriend, played by Jessica Biel. And Jake, that's Jonathan Taylor Thomas's character, he gets tickets to spend Christmas in Cabo San Lucas with Allie, Jessica Biel's character, as opposed to going home to New York for Christmas. Allie really wants to go home for Christmas, but Jake would rather not because sometime before the events of the film, his mom passed away and his father remarried, and it's explained that he remarried just too soon. Eventually, Jake's dad says, if you come home for Christmas, if you arrive by the time we sit down to Christmas Eve dinner at 6 o'clock, you can have the Porsche, which I guess Jake has always wanted his car, but at that point, Jake's like, okay, I'm coming home for Christmas. Unfortunately, he runs into many pratfalls along the way. There's another character in this film whose name is Eddie, and Eddie is very egotistical and is, in other words, jealous of Jake because he wants Allie. He wants to go out with Allie. And Eddie and his posse trap Jake in the desert dressed as Santa Claus, and he's basically in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, well, how am I supposed to get home? Allie doesn't even know where I am. And Eddie decides to give Allie a lift help give Allie a lift back to New York. Jake phones his dad and says, I'm in the middle of nowhere, dressed as Santa Claus, being attacked by a killer tumbleweed. There's buzzards everywhere. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it, but I'm gonna try. And his dad's like, yeah, I don't believe you. He calls it the worst alibi in a long line of bad alibis. And these ladies pass by and are surprised that Jake's father's not going to help him get home for Christmas. And with Jake dressed as Santa Claus, everyone just refers to him as Santa. And so the ladies offer Jake a ride. They say, we're going to Vegas. We'll drive you to Vegas. We're going to go see Tom Jones. And it's funny, just after I was talking about Tom Jones being on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in the last episode, while on the way, Jake finds himself kind of grossed out by the ladies and throws up. And the ladies go, Santa just yammed it in your handbag, and throw him out of the car. So he's basically on his own now. While trying to find his way back home, he stumbles upon a thief, basically, that offers him a lift while he's out driving, and they get pulled over by the police for speeding. And Jake explains, as Santa, we're going to, I think it was the Children's Hospital, to give toys to kids. And the cop says, okay, I'll drive you guys there. So Nolan, the guy that is driving the van that Jake was in before they get pulled over, Jake says, just put on this hat and act like my elf. So that was enough to fool the cop. And the cop says, can I come in with you? I really like to see the looks on the kids' faces. So that's what he ends up doing, and they give gifts to kids that are actually just things that Nolan stole that were in the back of his van. Afterwards, Nolan takes off, and the cop says to Jake, well, Jake really kind of explains his problem to the cop, and the cop says, well, last month my wife left me, and if you can get us back together, I will buy you a bus ticket to New York. And so they go over to the restaurant where the cop's wife works, and he tries to explain, look, I'm sorry I hurt you, I didn't mean to. And it's explained that he went out with a previous girlfriend and she caught them together. And after many attempts, finally, Jake manages to get them back together by having the cop serenade her with a horribly sung version of Oh Christmas Tree. When something like, oh Marjorie, I need you. I can't actually remember the words to it, but that ends up winning her over, and he gets Jake a bus ticket back to New York. But on the way there, he sees Eddie and Allie together at a hotel near where they are. And so Jake tries to stop the bus and says, we need to stop at this place. And the bus driver's like, no, this is non-stop to New York. And he eventually fools the bus driver into thinking that they have to deliver a liver to a little girl named Allie in the area. And so they stop the bus and they're like, okay, Santa, give her that liver. So Jake confronts Allie, and Allie's like, I'm not into him. And by accident, Jake lets slip that he's trying to get home for 6 o'clock. And Allie says, why? Why do you need to get there for 6? And then he explains, because he doesn't realize that he did that, and now he's like, oh God, I'm screwed. So he explains, my dad's gonna give me the Porsche if I'm home by 6. And Allie's like, so you don't care about me. You're just doing this for a car. You're not doing this for me. You're such a jerk. And she gets on the bus to New York and says to the bus driver, look, I'll take his spot. And the bus driver says, so you're the little girl that needs the new liver? She just looks at Jake like, screw you. So Eddie offers to give Jake a ride back to New York. And on the way there, it lasts like 5 minutes. And on the way there, Jake says, Eddie, I really appreciate it. It's really nice of you. And Eddie's like, get out. I'm sorry, man. I can't be that nice. It'll be bad for my reputation. What a f***ing jerk. So once again, Jake's left on his own. And he sees a bunch of Santa Clauses running by. And as it turns out, there's a Santa marathon where a whole group of people dressed as Santa Claus compete in a marathon, and whoever wins gets prize money. So Jake decides to compete, and there's only 2 people headed to the finish line, him and another man. Jake ends up beating that other man to the finish line, and he's got enough money to be able to afford to go to New York. And while he's in the cab explains that the person that Jake beat was in fact the mayor of the town. He wins every year, and he uses the money for a good cause. And then Jake feels really, really badly about it and goes to the mayor's house and gives him the money. So Jake's kind of trapped again. And so he phones his family, and his sister Tracy answers the phone, and Jake says, listen, I'm not coming home. I tried, but I'm not coming home. And Tracy says, what if I bought you a plane ticket? And at this point, Jake is in Madison, Wisconsin. And so she says, if you go to the nearest airport, I'll give you a code, because he doesn't have a picture identification. So she says, I'll give you a code, and it'll be something that you and I know. And so Jake gives the code to the lady at the airport. She's like, okay, the code matches. Do you have a picture identification? And Jake's like, but I gave you a code. She's like, you still can't get on without a picture identification. So Jake's once again stuck. So he sneaks on a plane to New York in a dog kennel, and he successfully manages to get to New York. But before he goes to get the Porsche, he pays a visit to Allie to apologize for being a jerk. And then they go over to the house, and Jake says, let me know when it's 6:01. Just a little bit after 6:01, Jake goes into the house, and his dad says, okay, the Porsche is yours. Jake's like, that wasn't the deal. And his dad says, yeah, but you're only just a minute late. And Jake also starts to bond with his stepmom, because throughout some of the film, it's like, oh, it's too soon. And of course, throughout a little bit of the movie, she was trying to get to know him. She asks, what is your sweater size? And so toward the end, he actually gives her the sweater size. So yeah, this is actually a really good Christmas movie. I love watching it like on the last day of school. I mean, I'm not in school anymore, but like my mom's a teacher, but like last day of school for my mom and for students here, I just really like to watch it. So that's all I've got to say about I'll Be Home for Christmas, and also this is the Nostalgia Talk 2021 finale. I tried to get at least 1 or 2 more interviews out before Christmas, but unfortunately, just wasn't possible. So I'd like to thank you guys for listening to Nostalgia Talk this year. This was a very big year for Nostalgia Talk, and that definitely makes me very happy. And I'm very happy that you guys have been enjoying this. Hopefully you guys will continue to enjoy this, and I will see you for more nostalgic stories in 2022. So in the meantime, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate. Hope you enjoy. Have a great holiday with your family, friends. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in 2022. Peace.